Right now in the crypto market, any sign of a big update around a project or a major development or a major fundamental announcement, everything that happens is now met with negativity. For example, the XRP ETFs that recently launched, everyone was talking about how the price didn't move, so they're not successful, they're this, they're that. We're going to address that here in a moment. I really want to go over a few things, and I really want to make sure that everyone understands what's really going on right now and if these ETFs have been a failure or not. Let's start off real quick with what we got over the weekend, right? Which was a big update from Eric Balchunas. We have here bullish. SEC may fast track crypto ETFs and XRP could be next. SEC's new guidance lets issuers accelerate filings delayed by the shutdown, with Bitwise's XRP ETF potentially next, says analyst Eric Balchunas. Now, I want to come back to this at a later point in this video because I do think that something very, very interesting is happening with Bitwise at this moment. But this got posted from Coin Bureau, and I do think that this is exactly what's happening. We're starting to see more and more ETF announcements, especially since the shutdown did end. Now, I want to talk about the Canary ETF again. I know we have been talking about it for quite some time. Let me just refresh this real quick because I want to go over this and I want to give you guys the full updated view. Today, we ended off the day at over 843,000 shares traded. This is equivalent to roughly $19 million. It's a little bit over 19 million on a major down day. This is very bullish. The overall trend here for the XRP-C ETF has been demand is there. Significant demand is there. It's been a very successful ETF launch. And I've made sure that everyone knows that it's been a very successful ETF launch. However, because the price of XRP is down, people think that this has failed. Crypto exchanges are not safe. It does not matter the size of the exchange either. Bybit, the fourth largest crypto exchange by trading volume, recorded one of the largest crypto hacks in history back in February, where $1.4 billion was stolen. And if we're looking at some of the top 10 crypto hacks in history, most of these are resulting from major exchanges. So where do we store our crypto outside of cold storage devices? Well, ITrustCapital offers premium custody accounts, which is one of the safest places to store your crypto because these are fully closed loop systems which are designed to isolate and protect assets. And the best part about this is that if you are holding digital assets on their platform, they can only be withdrawn in USD linked to a US bank account, which means no external wallet connections can happen, which reduces the exposure to phishing or unauthorized transfers. So if you guys do want to tap into one of the safest places to lock up your crypto, you could sign up utilizing my link down in the description below right now, where you deposit $1,000 and you get a free $100 funding bonus today. I made a post on X. It was a very just straightforward, simple post. I said, if you thought that the Canary XRP ETF launch was successful, just wait until you see how successful Franklin Templeton's will be. Very simple post. Now, what I was met with was a flood of negative comments talking about how the price is still down, so the success of this ETF was nonsense. It wasn't a successful ETF launch. The price of XRP barely moved. In fact, it actually went down. So these ETFs don't mean anything. And it was just a lot of people just being very, very negative on the ETF. And listen, I get it. I understand how, we could be easily negative in this market, especially at a time where, again, the market is down in a big way. Things have been very frustrating for the most part. We were expecting much higher price action at this point. I get it. But it doesn't go, against the idea that this ETF was successful. This ETF was very successful. And I made sure to break it down. I said, look at everyone crying in the comments on this post. Oh, but the XRP price is still down. It wasn't successful. The price is down. The XRP ETF currently has $275 plus million in total inflows recorded and has done over $15 million today alone. It is over 19 million. The market is absolute trash right now, and Bitcoin has been selling off for almost a month. The market has been down only for a while, yet the XRP ETF still did over $58 million on launch day and recorded over 200 million plus in just 2 days alone. I would say that is pretty damn successful. For those crying about the price action, do me a favor and go look at Bitcoin. That's your reason why the price sucks right now. Considering this entire space is correlated with Bitcoin's price currently, I wouldn't base a session off of if the underlying asset pumped or not. I would base it off the total inflows. XRP absolutely dominated 2025 ETF launches. Read it and weep. And yes, XRP was the most successful to date launch in 2025. And I think that a lot of people are overlooking that stat. It's very easy to just flip bearish on, XRP at this point and say, all right, yeah, the ETF sucks. It didn't do anything for price action. However, the entire space has been down. Bitcoin has been selling off for over a month. This market at the moment sucks. However, with all of that and the negative environment around crypto, XRP was still able to record over $275 plus million in total inflows already for just 3 days. And by the way, the 275 million doesn't even include the almost 20 million from today alone. So we're talking about over 290 plus million, almost hitting $300 million in just 3 days. We recorded 200 million plus in just 2 days alone. This was a very successful ETF launch for the environment around XRP being very, very bearish. Now, with that in mind, we are starting to see more ETFs getting confirmed. We got over here from XRP Arthur, breaking a new filing from CBOE just confirmed the approval and listing of the Amplify XRP 3% monthly premium income ETF under the Exchange Act of 1934. Things just got serious, and we just got this earlier yesterday, technically today, November 17th, right? We have here, to whom it may concern, CBOE BZX Exchange Inc. certifies its approval for listing and registration of the Amplify XRP 3% monthly premium income ETF under the Exchange Act of 1934. We are seeing more and more ETF approvals flooding in. This is a very bullish signal of what's to come. Now, let's go back to this image. So right off the rip, obviously the first one that we are looking at this week getting approved will be Franklin Templeton. That happens today. We have here Franklin Templeton, 1.5 trillion in assets under management. November 14th through the 18th. The 18th is the cutoff. Tomorrow is the cutoff. Tomorrow we should see approval of this ETF. I am looking at Bitwise though, because Bitwise is the 19th, which is Wednesday. If we are looking at this logically, Bitwise has $5 billion in assets under management, significantly larger than Canary, which I've mentioned yesterday. Bitwise recently just tweeted this: "You will not believe what I just heard." Now, we don't know what this means at all. They haven't really posted too much since this at all. This has been their last post, and this was about 5 hours ago. By the time that this does go live, it's going to be a lot longer. However, the main thing that I'm looking at here is, what are they what are they referencing here? Like, what is being talked about here, other than the fact that Bitwise does have a final deadline of the 19th. We know that the SEC may fast track crypto ETFs, and XRP could be next. Obviously, Bitwise would be next in line, potentially, outside of course, Franklin Templeton. Are we getting approvals this week? Think about how crazy this week could be if we get an approval of the Bitwise ETF, along with potentially the Franklin Templeton one. On top of that, we still have Saturday, the 20th, 21 shares. there could be a big inflow of ETF approvals here. On top of the fact that we just got another one getting approved for tomorrow, essentially. This one just got approved. We're talking about 3, potentially 4 ETFs getting approved in one single week for XRP. This is big. Now, let's go back to that list. Because obviously $1.5 trillion for Franklin Templeton's assets under management, that's a big deal. It's a big, big deal. Again, I want to cite my numbers because Canary is not a big name. I've said it a million times. But they still did a massive almost 300 million in just 3 days. That's very important when we are thinking about Franklin Templeton upcoming tomorrow, technically today. We just got a post regarding the Franklin Templeton ETF. This is from Chad Steingraber. We have here, I got chills, and they're multiplying. Here we have, and let me just zoom in so that you guys can read this. Franklin Templeton versus Canary funds. The launch of Franklin Templeton's XRP ETF is dramatically reshaping the XRP derivatives market landscape. As a reminder, Canary Funds launched its XRPC last week with a trading volume of 58 million on the first day. Analysts anticipate that Franklin Templeton could smash this figure with volumes ranging between 150 and 250 million from the first trading session. Canary did 58 million. They are projecting Franklin Templeton's to do 150 to 250 million. This difference stems from Franklin Templeton's institutional firepower. The asset manager controls over 1,500 times the assets under management of Canary funds and maintains an extensive network of financial advisors, wealth management platforms, and pension funds. These institutional clients are precisely seeking this type of investment vehicle, integration into existing brokerage accounts, simplified taxation, and no need to manage crypto wallets or exchange accounts. The structuring of the XRP responds exactly to the needs of traditional investors who want XRP exposure without the technical complexity of self-custody. This approach should channel significant flows into the product, especially if initial volumes confirm market interest. This is a very big deal. Like I said, it's not just the assets under management here, okay? I get that that is a big deal. That's definitely one of the biggest things to focus on. But the main thing that we are focused on is the network in which Franklin Templeton has behind it. You have a ton of financial advisors, wealth management platforms, and pension funds behind Franklin Templeton, not to mention their institutional clients. This is where we start to see the big picture. This is where we start to see how successful XRP can be in the institutional spotlight. This is where things can really change in a big way. And then, of course, yes, Bitwise. Okay, let me zoom out real quick. Bitwise is the next one up on the list. They're already starting to hint at a few things. I mean, they have about 5 billion in assets under management. It's not like a massive difference from Canary Capital. However, it's still a significant difference here. It's almost 10 times. It's a little bit over 10 times the value of, Canary Capital. And again, Bitwise is a very big name in crypto. We could soon be witnessing an ETF flood around XRP. We already witnessed a very successful launch, even though a lot of people will say that it failed simply because price action, which I find ridiculous. The main thing that we are watching at this point is just how successful this first initial launch was from a small name compared to some of these other names, and how big these next launches will be. But again, I can't wait to see how these ETFs stack up in an up market, because so far we have been in a down market. It's been a negative market. In a positive market, I wonder how these will perform. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.